Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Welcome to the bonus show.
Yes.
Let's talk about China. No, just kidding. North Korea. They're friends. They're really good friends. But North Korea is in a bit of a pickle. You see, Kim Jong-un went to school in Switzerland, and there he developed a passion for skiing. This is true. Now, I guess North Korea, for some reason, they're building nuclear weapons, but they can't build ski lifts. I don't know what's going on. It seems odd that you would have the technology for one and not the other when one requires significantly more technology. But North Korea has been desperately trying to acquire ski lifts from numerous countries. and they can't get them because of sanctions. Let's see. They've tried Austria, French companies. Both said no. North Korea offered millions of dollars. Ultimately, North Korea tried to import from a Swiss company, offering $7.7 million for these ski lifts. And, well, of course, what did Switzerland say?
They said
no.
we can't because of the sanctions.
Now, here's where it gets, this is just the best thing ever right here. The response from North Korea. You can't write this stuff. Truth is stranger than fiction. The response from North Korea was that, let me get the exact quote here. Okay. This is an intolerable mockery of the social system and the people of the DPRK and a serious human rights abuse.
You know what's amazing? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That politicizes sports and discriminates against the Koreans.
Yeah. It's amazing that the problem is, even if you forget about the sanctions, do you think the average North Korean will be allowed to just go skiing whenever they want? That's the funny thing, that if we want to talk about an attack on the social system and whatever, all that stuff that North Korea is saying is happening to them because they're not being sold the ski lifts, is what they would be doing with the ski lifts to the people of North Korea.
Right. So Kim Jong-un is offering $7.7 million of money that he should be spending feeding his starving people to acquire ski lifts that he could presumably develop for much less from another country, giving that money to people in those countries instead of the workers he could employ to build it in his own country. And when they say no, they're the ones guilty of human rights abuses.
It is completely absurd. But I have to tell you, I would still go to North Korea. I am compelled and fascinated, and I've actually been researching. It's not that tough to go to North Korea. We interviewed this guy who made a documentary about North Korea, and he said there's actually tours. Like, it's not that difficult to go. It's just a matter of, are you going to be allowed to photograph and videotape stuff or not?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, really the way to do it would be to somehow gain access to the things that are not part of this normal tour, because we've talked about how those work. They take you to very specific places. You're only allowed to see so much. But if you could go there under a different pretense, just like Dennis Rodman did, then maybe you can see a bit more, and you can learn a lot more, certainly. I mean, I would certainly love to do this. This would be fascinating. But I don't think I would want to go as just part of one of these cookie cutter tours.
Right, yeah, they limit what you see so much, and it's all completely planned. And even when they take you in the subway, they take you from one really nice subway station to the next, skipping 5 that are completely like the worst places you could even imagine ever being. It's all you're basically chaperoned the entire time.
Yeah, so I definitely would jump at any opportunity to go if it were just going to be a bit more interesting. And hell, maybe if I could be buddies with Kim Jong-un, maybe somehow we can trick him into becoming a huge fan of the David Pakman Show. Although, based on our criticisms of his leadership, I doubt that will happen. Here's an interesting story about a Michigan. It's dubbed the Michigan Pint Bill, and legislators here are very concerned that people are not getting 16 full ounces of beer in their glasses when they order a beer. And this is basically just that. It's just a bill that says that every person, every business pouring a pint has to pour a full actual pint.
Now, is this because when there's foam, you get like an inch of foam or a half inch of foam, and is that what it is, or is it that the glasses aren't really pint glasses?
I'm hearing that some businesses just aren't using full-sized pint glasses. And I started thinking about this, and at first it sounds like a legitimate thing. You order a pint, you get a pint.
Now let's just pause for a second. If you're listening to us, do you pronounce the term that Lewis is using? Do you pronounce it the way I do, a pint glass, or do you pronounce it the way Lewis does, a pint glass? I'm curious what the audience will say and where they attribute that. Lewis, growing up and learning English in the same place I did, somehow...
I think we just said it the same way.
No, you say pint, and I say pint.
That's almost exactly the same.
All right, well, I think that the audience will vindicate me on this.
Pint. You're saying pint.
Yes.
Okay, I say pint. I pronounce the I.
Yeah. No, you pronounce... It's almost like there's an A.
Pint.
Pint.
Like pie. How do you say pie?
I say pie.
Okay, well, if you just put an NT on the end of it, thered be no A in there, right?
All right, well, I'm going to leave this up to our members to figure out what's going on.
I just dominated you. But, okay, well, as a beer drinker, there are different types of beer. There are different strengths of beer. And as I'm sure a lot of people in our audience know, when you go to a bar and they've got a beer that's 15% alcohol, they're not going to serve you a full pint of that beer.
No, but that's a different issue. In other words, the really strong beers are usually served in different types of glasses altogether.
No, look. Section 106, an on-premises license shall not advertise or sell any glass of beer as a pint in this state unless that glass contains at least... Okay. Well, I guess it's just if you are strictly selling a pint, it has to be an actual pint. But
yeah, but it's very common that you have those beers that are like, the 10 ounces or whatever because they're very strong.
Yeah. So I guess that still might be a thing. Because I was thinking at first that if every beer had to be a pint, this could not only way inflate the prices of some drinks, but people would be getting completely wasted off of this stuff. Anyway, I'm not sure this should be a priority among lawmakers in Michigan. We know about some of the things that are happening there with regard to labor, and it seems like beer is maybe not the most important thing to be discussing. But I don't know, the Michigan Pint Bill, or as David says, the Michigan Pint Bill, what have you. It's all good. Here's a crazy story. This is really blowing up. And I've seen this on the front page of Yahoo, Huffington Post, you name it. There is a bar that I go to in Austin here. It's a very small bar. It's new. And it's they haven't even had their grand opening yet. But I was looking at the Huffington Post, and I go by and I see that some bar is under fire for having a sign out front that caused some controversy. And I was looking at the sign and the picture, and something about it looked really familiar. The sign looked kind of familiar. It's a Heineken sign, and there are a couple steps and just a door. And I'm like, I know this location. Sure enough, I click on it, and it's a bar I go to all the time here in Austin. And there was a sign. They put a sign out front with they write different funny things on it, and every day it's something different. And a lot of places do this in Austin. They'll have a sign that they change every day, and they write something witty or humorous on it.
Yeah, same thing in Brooklyn. Everybody's very clever in these types of cities.
Yeah. And I guess some employee took it upon themselves to write, I like my beer like I like my violence, domestic. And someone took a picture. And it just completely blew up. And later that day, I guess, it blew up so quickly that even later that day, the sign changed from that to $1 of every domestic beer sold will go towards the NCADV in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Uh-oh, time to do crisis management right away.
And this is a bar that's open every day. I went by on Sunday and they were not open. And I found that strange. So I hope everything's okay. You know, I know the owner. I doubt he's the one who wrote this. I mean, it's not like I'm offended by this. I mean, I think someone just made a bad decision and they probably weren't trying to offend anyone.
Yeah, it's not that we're saying the person who wrote it beats his girlfriend or wife. What we're saying is it's just really in poor taste. It's stupid to write it. And obviously people are going to be offended by that because there are such huge issues with domestic violence. And who cares if the individual who wrote it doesn't beat his wife? It's still the case that if you walk by and see that, people are going to get offended.
Right. And I'm sure anyone who looks this up will find it within 2 minutes. I'm not going to name the bar, but
Why? Now why aren't you naming the bar? It's part of the story, isn't it?
I guess it is part of the story, but it's not an important part of the story.
It sounds pretty important to me.
I don't know. I don't think it is. Like I said,
is it because you don't want people?
It's on the front page of Yahoo, David. It's not hard to find.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's weird for you not to mention it, given that it's not a secret. Is it because you don't want people showing up at the bar you hang out at?
They can anyway. If they just look it up right now.
All right.
No, I don't know. I just didn't feel it. It's really a completely moot detail, is it not?
I think in any other situation, we would be just saying who or what company we're talking about. I think it's a little weird for you. I'm respecting Lewis's decision as the producer and host of the bonus show. I could tell you the name of the bar. I'm not going to do it because this is Lewis's call, but I think it is unusual not to say it.
Well, I think it's unusual that you think that's unusual. Anyway, I hope everything's okay there. I hope this didn't cause a massive shitstorm, which would end the bar. But yeah, I don't know. I'll do a follow up. I'll be there soon, I'm sure, to have a brewski. So we'll follow up with that. But yeah, got to be careful. Got to be careful with those signs. This one was definitely a mistake. But interesting that such a tiny little sign, you know, it's really a reflection of the information age and the technology we have at our disposal now. I mean, had this sign been up there 20 years ago, it would have gone largely unnoticed. One person might have walked by, gotten offended, and yelled at the management, and no one in the country would really know about it. But now everyone in the country, well, not everyone, but everyone could easily find out about this. And it's fascinating, isn't it? It
is interesting. It doesn't matter where you are. Somehow, if you do something stupid, it'll end up on the internet and maybe even on Reddit.
There it is. And that's it for today's bonus show.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.